Hello everyone, hope all of you are fine. Welcome to all of you to today's class. So today in this class we are going to discuss the chapter The Open Window, which is written by H.H. Munro. Okay, previously I have discussed Unit 1 in 2 parts. Likewise, I am also going to discuss Unit 2 in 2 parts. But before it, let me tell you something, that most of the students are asking me to do the video in Odia language. Okay, I do also understand that sometimes it's difficult for you to understand, so I have decided one thing, that if the class is of 10 minutes duration, first 5 minutes will be in English, rest 5 minutes will be in Odia. Okay, accordingly you have to watch. If you need English, means in the same video you can get both these language. First part will be completely in English, second part will be completely in Odia. But while teaching Odia, I will use English words also, because otherwise it's practically not possible. Okay, so now let's start. Previously we have discussed that 3 characters were there. First one was Mr. Norton, Mr. Frampton Norton. Second one was Vera. Third one was Mrs. Sappleton. And 2 other characters are also there. They are Mr. Sappleton, Mrs. Sappleton's husband, and 2 brothers of Mrs. Sappleton. But the 2 brothers and the husband, they are the black characters because they are not having any prominent role in this story. Okay. So here, as I have told you that previously Mr. Nortel, who was going under nerve cure treatment, he had paid visit to this place and his first visitor was Mrs. Sappleton. So, as Mrs. Sappleton was not available at that particular time, he had to talk with Vera, means he had to spend the time unless and until the aunt arrived. Okay, this much was taught to you. Now let's start Unit 2. In Unit 2, it is written that how did Mr. Nortel react to the situation? At the same time, the arrival of Mrs. Sappleton is also mentioned. And when Mrs. Sappleton appeared on the scene, she was asking for a wheel of apology, just like sorry, because she was late. Now let's start the chapter. Have you noticed the effect of Vera's narration of the family tragedy on Nortel? Did you notice it? Did you mark anything different? Means, did you notice the facial expression? Look, I have told you one thing from the very beginning of the class. Whenever you are reading something, either it is a story or it is a poem or one-act play or whatever it is, imagine yourself as the main character so that it would be easy for you to understand it in a better way. Okay. So now here it is written, what might be the facial expression? He was terrified because it was beyond his imagination that in this peaceful area there is also tragedy. I hope Vera has been amusing you. Go through your text so that it would be easy for you to understand. I hope Vera has been amusing you. So it is mentioned, Mrs. Sappleton is asking to Mr. Nortel that she is expecting that Vera is not boring. She must be amusing Mr. Nortel. She has been very interesting, said Frampton, and Frampton said, yes, Vera is very interesting lady. I hope you don't mind the open window. Then in the meantime, when Mrs. Sappleton came, she didn't talk anything else. Directly she pointed out to the open window. It might be possible, though it is not mentioned in this chapter, suppose you have paid a visit to my home, okay, and you need to talk to my mother. But before talking to my mother, you had a conversation with me, and when the window is open, I told you that this has happened with this window, etc., etc. Will not your notice, means will not your sight, will not you look at that particular direction time to time, again and again, you will cast your eyes on the window. So definitely Mr. Nortel was also watching the window frequently. So Mrs. Sappleton said, do you mind the open window? Said Mrs. Sappleton briskly and smartly. Look, there is a communication gap in between Vera and Mrs. Sappleton. Mrs. Sappleton, she doesn't know what Vera had spoken to Mr. Nortel regarding the story or regarding the open window. Okay. My husband and brothers will be home directly from shooting. Then Mrs. Sappleton is speaking that my husband and my brothers, plural form is mentioned, they will directly come home from shooting. It means they have been for shooting. And they always come in this way, and every time whenever they are returning home, they used to use the window in order to enter into the house. They have been out for snipe in the masses today. Look, snipe it is mentioned in your book also. The meaning is given. Actually, snipe is having two different meanings. Okay, in book, in glossary, the meaning is not written here. So, here, snipe means two. It is mentioned in the unit 1, snipe shooting at something from a hiding place. Now, you just try to imagine, if snipe means shooting something from a hiding place, then what is the meaning of snipe in the masses? Has been out. For snipe in the masses means from the marshes, they will shoot something from a hiding place. Understood? At the same time, snipe, in dictionary you also can find out that snipe is referring to a particular breed of bird. Okay? In the marshes today, marshes means what? An area of wetland. What we speak in Hindi, daldal. Understood? So they will make a fine mess. Mess means what? The dirty things, the mud. The mud is mentioned here, the mess. Make a fine mess over my poor carpet. Look, it is mentioned poor carpet. Here the financial status of the carpet is not mentioned. Here carpet is mentioned innocent. Okay. So my poor carpet, so like you main folk, isn't it? Then she is speaking that they will return home through the window. They will spread mud over my carpet, and men are like this. It means male are only like this. Means they will make the house dirty. Say rattled. Rattle means what? To talk continuously. Some difficult word meanings I have written. Okay. If you are getting any other difficult words, you can ask me also. Say rattled on cheerfully about the shooting and the scarcity of birds. Then she started talking cheerfully, means happily. She started talking about the prospect of birds and the scarcity of birds in the winter. In winter season, few birds are available. She started speaking these things. And the prospect means possibility or hope for duck in the winter. At the same time, she is also asking that there is the chance that they can find out duck in the winter season. To Frampton, it was all purely horrible. But for Frampton Knowlton, it was not a normal story, because Vera had previously told him regarding the family treasury, and for this reason, for Frampton, it was completely horrible. He made a desperate means what? To try something very hard, but it was valueless, hopeless attempt. But only partially successful effort to turn the talk onto a less ghastly topic. Ghastly means horrifying topic. So Mr. Nuttall tried his level best to change the topic of Mrs. Sappleton, but it was not a 100% successful one. Partly he was able to do it. He was conscious that his hostess was giving him only a fragment of her attention, and he also realized one thing, that her hostess means what? A female host, means Mrs. Sappleton. She was not at all looking at Mr. Nuttall. Look, right now I am looking to you. Suppose right now just look at my eyes. You can realize that I am not looking at you. Okay, right now I am not looking at you, but looking past to you are sitting, crushing, means my eyesight are crushing you and looking at something which is behind you. Okay, it doesn't mean that you are sitting here and I am looking at this place. Okay, they must be in a straight line. So she was not looking at Mr. Nuttall, but she was paying her attention towards something else. And where was she looking? And her eyes were constantly straying. And here straying means what? Moving. Means constantly she was looking at something. Her eyes are moving at something to the open window. And what was she looking at? She was looking at the open window and the lawn beyond, and there was the grassland after the window. Means outside the window there was the grassland. To that Mrs. Sappleton was looking at. It was certainly an unfortunate coincidence. Look, today's date is 6th of February. Okay, 6th February 2022. So according to Vera, this incident has taken place on 2019, 19 to 20, 20 to 21, 21 to 22. Okay, 3 years. So suppose the incident has taken place on 6th February 2019. It means Mr. Nortel has paid a visit to their house on 6th of February 2022. Understood now? Exactly, it was the 3rd anniversary. On the very same day, Mr. Nortel has paid a visit to Mrs. Sapleton's house. And then it is mentioned that it was certainly an unfortunate coincidence that he should have paid his visit on his tragic anniversary. On the tragic anniversary, Mr. Nortel did pay a visit to him, and it was the most dreadful thing for Mr. Nortel. Then Mr. Nortel was going to speak. The doctors agree in ordering me complete rest. Then Mr. Nortel is trying to speak on himself, on his own, and is speaking that doctors, they have told me that I should take complete rest, an absence of mental excitement, that should means mentally or physically I should not be excited, an avoidance of anything in the nature of violent physical exercise. At the same time, there should not be any violent physical exercise. Everything should be avoided in my life. It is the opinion of Mr. Nortel. So Mr. Nortel is speaking all these things to Mrs. Sapleton. Announced Frampton, one who labored, and labored means what? Someone who is quite oppressed with some disease. He is not having any hope to get rid of all these things, to be cured. That man is speaking under the tolerably widespread delusion. Delusion means false belief that total strangers and chance acquaintances are hungry for the least details of one's ailments and infirmities. So at the same time, Mr. Nortel was having a belief that if he talk to the strangers, then to some extent it might be possible that they will take interest in the disease, and they will speak out some remedy. Okay, they will speak out some solution. Infirmities, their causes and cure. So at the same time, they will take something, means they will speak something. At the same time, they will not highly conscious of the dangers of the disease. Okay, suppose someone is suffering from some disease. If you know, definitely you will keep yourself aloof from the person, you will maintain the distance. But if you are meeting the stranger is not having any idea on your disease, so the stranger will not keep any distance in between you and himself. Understood the point? So this is the opinion of Mr. Nortel, and according to Mr. Nortel, all these things are being spoken by the doctors. On the matter of diet, they are not so much in agreement, he continued, and he said that in the matter of diet, means regarding food, they are not quite particular, means they didn't give me any selected food items to eat. No, said Mrs. Sapleton. Then Mrs. Sapleton said no. But she was not speaking no to Mr. Nortel. In a voice which only replaced a yawn at the last moment. Yawn means what? This is yawning. Okay. So she spoke no like this. No. Understood? Then she suddenly brightened into alert attention, and suddenly she brightened up. Suddenly she looked up. But not to what Frampton was saying. But she was not at all conscious that what Frampton was speaking to him. Here they are at last. And then what is he speaking? Finally they came. She cried. Just in time for tea. Just at the time of tea they came. And don't they look as if they were muddy up to the eyes, and aren't they looking full muddy up to the eyes? Means up to their eyes they are looking completely brown color, filled with mud. Their body is completely filled with mud. Okay, read this much. In the next class we will read rest of the portion. Okay, and right now I am going to speak in Odia. So now let's start in Odia. It will take less time. Okay, I hope Vera has been amusing you, she said. It is kiye. It is she hochunti Mrs. Sapleton, because when Mr. Nortel came, Mr. Nortel जेतेबेले आसीथिले, Mr. Sapleton सेठी प्रेजेंट नथिले, से ऊपर घरे थिले. ओके, जेहेतु तांका आसीबारे डेरी हला, से सॉरी कहि कि he just spoke with of apology. बहुत थरा से सॉरी कहले, एवं Mr. Nortel को पचारिले जे वेरा आपन को निश्चय एंटरटेनमेंट करूछि, आपन बोर हो नाहंती तो. This question is asked by Mr. Nortel. आई होप यू डोंट माइंड द ओपन विंडो। तापर मिस्टर नोटेल कौन को मिस्टर नोटेल को मिसेस सैपलटन कौन कहते जे मु आशा करुच्ची जे आमर जो झरकाटी खोला अच्छी आपड़ किसी खराब भावु नाहंती कहीं देख एठी एमिति तो नहीं ना मिसेस सैपलटन आसिले आसिक सांगे सांगे मिस्टर नोटेल को पचारे झरका खोला अच्छे किसी खराब भावुच कि नो एमती तो नुह तो डेफिनेटली मिस्टर नोटेल से झरका को बारंबार चाहूवे ओके जेहेतु से बारंबार देखुं से झरका को से मिसेस सैपलटन निश्चय भाव भाई जे से झरका को कहीं थर देखुं मनर किसी चलছে कि किसी क्वेश्चन अच्छी कि से मिसेस सैपलटन पचारे आपड़ से खोला झरका कथा कहते कि सेड मिसेस सैपलटन ब्रिस्कली स्मार्टली कहीं ना वेरा मिस्टर नोटेल को कौन कहते मिस्टर नोटेल फैमिली ट्रेजेडी विषय कौन शुणी एक तो मिसेस सैपलटन को जना नहीं ना तो से सी कहते जो झरकाटी खोला है आप किसी खराब भावुं कि माय हजबैंड एंड ब्रदर्स विल बी होम डायरेक्टली फ्रॉम शूटिंग देन मिसेस सैपलटन कहते जे मोर हजबैंड आउ मोर दुई जन भाई से माने शिकार कर सारी पक्षी शिकार करने को जाइछंती से माने शिकार कर सारिके घर को फेरिबे इन दिस वे आउ से माने सब बेले झरका देकी ही घर को आसंती झरका देकी बाहर को जाती झरका देकी घर को आसंती दे हैव बीन आउट फॉर स्नाइप इन द मासेस टुडे जो ओदा सन्तसंतिया जगह जो रही आम अंचल से अंचल जो पक्षी अच्छी स्नाइप्स से माने लुचि लुचिकी पक्षी शिकार करने को जाइछंती दिस वाज द ओपिनियन ऑफ मिसेस सैपलटन and they will make fine mess over my poor carpet so do you like men folk isn't it then Mrs. Appleton कहउछंदी जेते बेले से माने आसीबे से माने घर भीतर को जेते बेले आसीबे पूरा कादुओ हो जाइथिबे आ मोर कार्पेट ऊपर कार्पेट माने जो घरे फ्लोर रे स्प्रेड करंती दैट वन इज नोन एज द कार्पेट ओके सो कार्पेट ऊपर पूरा कादुओ कर देबे आ मेल पीपुल आर लाइक दिस मेल माने एमिति ही पुरुष लोक माने एमिति ही घर केवल अपरिष्कार करेंगे ओके दिस इज द ओपिनियन ऑफ मिसेस सैपलटन नॉट माय ओपिनियन सी रेटल्ड ऑन cheerfully about the shooting and the scarcity of birds तापरे मिसेस सैपलटन कौन कले cheerfully means happily सी बर्ड्स केमती शिकार करेंगे केमती विंटर रे केमती पक्षी मिलंतनी से माने शिकार विषय से बहुत गुडी कथा मिस्टर नोटेल को कहीदेले एंड द प्रोस्पेक्ट ऑफ डक इन द विंटर आउरी कौन कहले जे शीत दिने केमिति डक डक माने कौन बतक ओके शीत दिने केमती बतक मिले से विषय भी से कहले डक माने हंस नुह हंस माने स्वान डक माने बतक टू फ्राम्पटन इट वाज ऑल प्योरली हॉरिबल किंतु फ्राम्पटन को पाई कौन थिला एडा गुडे सी तो सुनी थिले ना फैमिली ट्रेजेडी हेची तांको पाई एडा गुडे भयंकर एक्सपीरियंस थिला भयंकर अनुभूति थिला ही मेड अ डेस्परेट but only partially successful effort to turn the talk on a less ghastly topic एवं फ्राम्पटन नोटेल चेष्टा करुथिले जे मिस्टर सैपलटन केमिति ए जो डरावना कथा ए सब भयंकर कथा न कहि कि टिके ए सब माने भलो भलो कथा कहंदी से टॉपिक को चेंज करबा को चाहुथिले ही वाज कॉन्शियस आ से एटा भी मार्क करुथिले जे दैट इज होस्टेस वाज गिविंग हिम ओनली अ फ्रैगमेंट ऑफ अटेंशन मिस्टर सैपलटन अल्प ही देखुले से मिसेस सैपलटन कौन करते देखु नथिले मिसेस सैपलटन अन्य जगह को देखुले बाहर को देखुले किंतु मिस्टर नोटेल को अटेंशन देउ नथिले एंड आवर आईज वेर कंस्टेंटली स्ट्रेइंग पास्ट हिम टू द ओपन विंडो एंड द लॉन बियॉन्ड बर्तमान मते देखो देखो मु अभी कैमेरा को चाहूँगी किंतु जदि मु एमती कैमेरा को छाड़ी मु किछि अन्य किछि जिंस जहाँ भी अच्छी सेठी चाहिए तुमको न चाहिए ताले कौन हम यू कैन मार्क जे नो आवर टीचर इज नॉट लुकिंग एट अस सेमती मिसेस सैपलटन तांका आगरे मिस्टर नोटेल बसी किंतु से नोटेल को न चाहिए बाहर को चाहूले बाहर थिबा तांकर जो लॉन जो घास पड़िया थिला ताकू चाहूले झरका सेपटे जो घास पड़िया थिला ताकू भी चाहूले सो डेफिनेटली व्हाट वाज हर इंटेंशन कौन से आगुरी कहते जे तांकर हस्बैंड तांकर स्वामी आ तांकर दुई भाई आसबे से बाहर को चाहूले एंड it was certainly an unfortunate coincidence that he should have paid his visit on this tragic anniversary and Mr. Notel भाबुतिले भगवान मु काहे के आज आसिली काहे कि ना वेरांग कहवा अनुसार देख तुमको एग्जांपल दोची टुडेस डेट होची 6th of February 2022 अकॉर्डिंग टू वेरा से दिन थिला तांको मामू आउ तांको माईंकर दुई भाईंकर तृतीय श्राद्ध दिवस ओके थर्ड डेथ एनिवर्सरी सो सपोज इंसिडेंट 6 February 2022 रे हिची माने एठी सो एठी भेरांका कहवा अनुसार इंसिडेंट 6 फेब्रुआरी 2019 रे हेजी एवं मिस्टर सैपल्टन 6 फेब्रुआरी 2022 रे तांको घर को विजिट करिसंती ओके देन सो मिस्टर नॉटल को मन बहुत दुख हो जाउतला एमती माने डरावना कथा सुनले तो डर लागिबो ना द डॉक्टर्स एग्री इन ऑर्डरिंग मी कंप्लीट रेस्ट मिस्टर नॉटल संगे संगे कौन कहले डॉक्टर मते कहछंती कंप्लीट रेस्ट नेबी an absence of mental excitement and avoidance of anything in the nature of violent physical exercise एवं किछि मेंटली मु एक्साइटेड हैप्पीनी आ वायलेंट फिजिकल वायलेंट एक्सरसाइज भी मु करबिनी किछि एक्सरसाइज करबिनी मेंटली काम एंड क्वाइट रहबा को मते डॉक्टर एडवाइस दैछंती अनाउंस फ्रॉम्पटन हु लेबर्ड आ मिस्टर नॉटेल विश्वास करूथिले जे जदि से अजणा लोकन को ओके तांकर हेल्थ स्वास्थ्य संबंधी किसी कहते दे विल नॉट बी टू मच सीरियस ओके देख तुम मन कर तुम साइड जनकर बहुत देह खराब तुम घरे कौन कहे ना नहीं ज्वर होती तो जानछ सो कोविड इज गोइंग ऑन ज्वर होती घर को तू जानी कहे ना नहीं किंतु तुम जब जान गोटे लोक को ज्वर होती तुम से लोक सहित फ्रीली कथा हैंड भी शेक करदेव एस नो यू विल शेक योर हैंड विथ द पर्सन ऑल्सो सो ये कौन होती who labored under the tolerably widespread delusion that total stranger and chance acquaintances means people whom you meet by chance are hungry for the least detail least माने कम डिटेल ऑफ वन्स एलिमेंट्स एंड इनफर्मेटिव्स जनकर स्वास्थ्यगत समस्या जदि किछि अछि अजणा अजणा लोक माने एते सीरियसली नियंतिनी बट यू कैन शेयर योर फीलिंग्स देख तुम मन कर किसी प्रोब्लेम अच्छी व्हाट आर यू डूइंग तुम कथा है कि शेयर कले यू आर फीलिंग रिलैक्स सो फ्रैम्पटन भी सेड है भाबुथिले देयर कॉजेस एंड क्योर ऑन द मैटर ऑफ डाइट देन ही इज स्पीकिंग दैट किंतु मैटर ऑफ डाइट खाद्य संपर्क कि मु कोन खाइबे कोन न खाइबे डॉक्टर एमती किछि कहि नांती बुझि पारलो नो सेड मिसेस हैपल्टन इन अ वॉइस व्हिच ओनली रिप्लेस अ यॉन एट द लास्ट मोमेंट मिसेस हैपल्टन कोन कहले नो किंतु केमती से कहले एमती नॉर्मली नो कहलेनी से कहले no nahi okay then suddenly she brightened into alert attention but not to what Frampton was saying तापरे से suddenly brightened attention रे चाहिले किंतु Frampton कोन कहउतले ताकू से देखिलेनी she was thinking something else here they are at last then से कहले जे here they are at last ओहो शेषरे माने आसिले just in time for tea and don't they look as if they were muddy up to the ears पूरा चा पीवा टाइम रे सेमाने आसीचंती सेमाने तांगा आखि पर्यंत कादुरे बोली है नंदी की सो दिस ओपिनियन इज बीइंग गिवन बाय मिसेस सैपल्टन ओके बुझी पारलो सो एती जे पढिची नेक्स्ट क्लास रे नेक्स्ट सेशन रे मु तुम मानकर एटा एंड करबी ओके लिसन वन थिंग इफ यू हैव एनी प्रॉब्लम यू कैन आस्क मी इन यूट्यूब ओनली अदरवाइज यू कैन जॉइन माय टेलीग्राम चैनल इंग्लिश क्लासेस ओके ऑल ऑफ यू हैव अ नाइस टाइम